Well, hello everybody. As you can see, we are here on a new Molar Mass worksheet, and I hope that everyone is enjoying their time at home today. And let's get started on our first video. So the molar mass, that's what we're working on. So how do you find the molar mass? That's the first question. So the first thing we do is we look on the periodic table. In class, we talked about every single element has its own molar mass on the periodic table. And each number represents the mass per 1 mole of that element. And all these numbers that are on the periodic table are going to help us when we try to find out the overall molar mass. So look at this periodic table here. It gives you 4 different elements, and as you can see, I've also kind of highlighted the numbers. That's the molar mass per mole for each individual element. So what does that mean? Well, each individual element is going to have a mass. And with that, we can look at some of the ones that we saw. So hydrogen. 1 mole of hydrogen is 1.01 grams per mole. 1 mole of carbon is 12.01 grams per mole. Now here, oxygen's a little different. Even though it was 15.994, we're going to round this to 16. And then chlorine, 1 mole of chlorine is 35.45 grams per mole. Always make sure to have the grams per mole. So now what about the compounds? Well, when we look at the compounds, the same information is used, but we just add the quantities. So if you had carbon dioxide, how would you figure out the molar mass? Take a second and think about that. How many carbons do you have? How many oxygens do you have? Exactly, 1 and 2. So 1 mole of carbon would be 12.01 grams per mole. 1 mole of oxygen is 16, but wait, you just told me that you had 2. So we would actually have to use both of those, which would be 32.00 grams per mole, which altogether would be 44.01. So it's very important that we look at the number right here. That tells you how many you have. It's not 2 carbons, it's only 1. So it's 2 oxygens, 1 carbon. So what about something that's a little harder than that? Well, let's take a look at this. Magnesium phosphate. How many magnesiums do I have? How many phosphoruses do I have? And how many oxygens? Think about that. Now, one thing to notice is that this 2 right here only talks about these things in here. And this PO4 is not on the periodic table, so we're going to have to break it down. So, same steps, but instead of 1 mole of magnesium, I should have 3. This here should be a 3, which I will fix. 3 times 24.31 is 72.93. 2 moles of phosphorus, that one is right. 8 moles of oxygen, that one's right because I took the 2, multiplied it by the 4. And altogether, that would be 262.87 grams per mole. Again, I need this grams per mole to make sure I'm doing it correctly. Okay, so now what I would like you to do is give me the molar mass for carbon, the molar mass for PO. Notice that is 1 element on the periodic table. The molar mass for magnesium oxide, 2 elements. The molar mass for magnesium chloride, again, 2 elements, but notice I have 2 Cl's. And then gallium carbonate. So bring these with you tomorrow to class, and we will go over them. Again, I hope this helped, and if you have any questions, make sure to email me.